Look at this map from the late 1800s. It displays the familiar coastlines of the Americas, Europe, and Africa. But sitting dead center in the Atlantic Ocean is a massive, meticulously labeled continent. Early researchers struggled to explain why architecture appearing on one side of the world looked nearly identical to buildings thousands of miles away, despite no recorded contact between the cultures. In Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza was constructed with such precise geometry and massive scale that it remains an engineering marvel today. Across the ocean, the Maya were building stepped stone pyramids of their own at sites like Chichen Itza. To many, the idea that these two cultures arrived at the same architectural feats independently felt impossible. They looked for a single mother civilization that could have taught them both. This map presents a meticulously detailed falsehood, an invention that uses scientific aesthetics to grant a fictional island the weight of history. Today, the tools have upgraded. Internet sleuths and armchair archaeologists use sleek satellite imagery, scanning the globe from their screens to hunt for Plato's famous lost city. They point to sites like the Richat Structure, a massive geological formation in the Sahara Desert. It features concentric rings of land and water, matching the physical dimensions Plato described for the Atlantean capital. While these natural formations are visually striking, they highlight a growing trend. We are witnessing the digital evolution of a very old lie. To find the actual origin of Atlantis, we have to go back 2,400 years to ancient Greece. The story exists entirely because of one man, the philosopher Plato. In all of antiquity, no other ancient Egyptian, Babylonian, or Greek text mentions this island. Plato wrote dialogues to explore ideas about justice and government. He designed Atlantis as a fictional antagonist, a wealthy, technologically advanced, but morally bankrupt naval empire. In his story, this arrogant superpower is ultimately defeated by a much smaller but virtuous Proto-Athens. For thousands of years, scholars read his texts exactly as he intended. Atlantis was a philosophical allegory warning against military pride and greed, not a set of geographic coordinates. That consensus held until the 1800s. The scientific method was rapidly rewriting human history, replacing old religious timelines with empirical data, fossils, and geological records. In 1868, a German businessman and amateur archaeologist named Heinrich Schliemann decided to apply this new empirical approach to ancient literature. By cross-referencing the landmarks described in Homer's Iliad with the topography of the Turkish coastline, he pinpointed a location, began to dig, and discovered the real ruins of Troy. Schliemann's discovery planted a powerful seed of doubt. If Homer's mythical city was real, people naturally assumed Plato's mythical island must also be a buried reality. Spiritualists and clairvoyants capitalized on this doubt. They stamped out detailed maps and wrote extensive histories of Atlantis. They lacked physical evidence, so they wrapped their psychic visions in the aesthetic language of science, using geological terms and authoritative typography. In an era defined by hard science, these authors found the perfect disguise. By mimicking the look of scientific research, they gave their fabricated histories an air of unquestionable legitimacy. These new, science-sounding maps brought along toxic additions. Authors claimed Atlantis was populated by a superior, highly advanced Aryan race that survived the island's sinking to spread culture to the rest of the world. By the 1930s, this specific racial mythology caught the attention of Heinrich Himmler, the architect of the Holocaust. Himmler heavily funded SS archaeological expeditions across the globe. He deployed teams with shovels and scientific instruments to manufacture evidence proving that the German people were the direct, pure-blooded descendants of this Atlantean master race. What started as a harmless philosophical thought experiment had mutated. It became a fabricated historical mandate, clothed in the authority of science, and used to justify real-world atrocities. The Nazi regime fell, but the pseudo-scientific obsession with Atlantis survived. Today, the theory thrives across internet forums, documentaries, and podcasts. This timeline graph shows global temperatures during the Younger Dryas period, roughly 12,000 years ago. When a comet impact likely caused temperatures to plummet, many large mammals went extinct. Modern truthers point to this very real planetary event as the catalyst for Atlantis's destruction. We are susceptible to these theories because human history is vast, and the archaeological record contains massive gaps. We still don't fully understand exactly how the earliest civilizations developed their technologies. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the human mind. When faced with the terrifying, empty voids of our unknown past, we have a deep psychological urge to fill them with a comforting story about a lost golden age. Strip away the psychic readings, the internet coordinates, and the fabricated maps. What remains is a stark realization. The visual language of science, whether it is a 19th century ink drawing or a glowing 21st century satellite scan, is easily manipulated. We will accept almost any evidence, so long as it tells us what we desperately want to hear. Plato's Atlantis survives today as a reminder of our own hubris and our ongoing vulnerability to beautiful, authoritative lies.